Hello everybody. Over the last few weeks there's been lots of communication via text, email or letters based on the website. So I thought it was really important to speak to you personally, which is after the recent government announcements that obviously said that school closures would extend for a period of time. I'm hopefully going to answer some of your questions that you might have, especially in regards to summer gradings for Year 11 and 13 students. And I'm also going to reinforce some of the help we've got for you in regards to remote learning and the current circumstances. So, like I said, there was an announcement last week about the increase of the time away for students from school. And that's not news that any of us wanted to hear. We're desperate to have the students back in the building, as you can imagine. And I'm sure people are also keen to return to school. So like I said, I'm going to talk you through some of what that means at the moment. The first thing to talk about is the consultation that is currently out there for grades in the summer of 2021. Now, I'm really hoping that lots of you have seen that document and maybe also used the tool for feedback on that consultation. It'd be really good for your personal development if you have, and it's also nice to have your say at the right time. I want to reinforce that we're doing lots of planning and research around those announcements and those proposals within that document as it currently stands. We are looking at the possibility of a combination or a basket of evidence that teachers and staff can give around student grades. And inside that document, there's an indication that there might be some tests set by the exam boards themselves, which are marked in school. But I want to reiterate, none of this is final at the moment. We're keeping a really, really close eye on what's happening, and we're attending certain conferences to make sure that we're really up to speed with all the latest information and guidance out there. That is also fed back into our leadership and staffing structures within the building, so everybody is fully aware of what's currently happening. My only bit of advice at the moment is very simple, and I did communicate that in the letter that I sent last week. It's just in regards to you just need to keep working hard at home, accessing your lessons and making sure that you're submitting your work on time. Because the reason that is because remote learning has now become part of curriculum time. What you are being delivered is part of your overall curriculum or your syllabus for whatever exam board you are following. So it's really important to keep your attendance to lessons maximised and also making sure that you're making the most of the staff feedback and input, asking any questions, maybe looking at the gaps in knowledge, and then just wait for the next stage of developments and for the further communications. So, moving on from that as well, we're already starting to work as part of the careers framework that we operate within the building to make sure that your pathways are secure. We did a really good job at that last year, and pretty much 100% of the, especially Year 13 students, they got pretty much 100% where they wanted to go in regards to university choices, apprenticeships or other pathways for their careers. So we're working hard about that at the moment. Please look out for the information from Miss Edwards, who's our careers advisor. She will be looking to book appointments with those relevant, but also you can then find out lots of information on our website about the next stages of what we're going to do for your pathways as well. So just some reminders about how to access your remote learning. I know lots of you are experts at this right now, so some of this is not new knowledge, but it's important to reinforce that. So on the website, you will find how to access your basic emails, which gives you access to then Teams. And then on Teams, there's lots of instructions how to access that, and in regards to live lessons and making sure you're attending your timetable as it looks. And then in regards to Show My Homework is how we're judging your submission of assignments or work. There's just a reminder, there's that video that talks you through those processes and how to submit it really well and on time. And then just a reminder again, there's lots of information on the website about how to join the lesson, participating and the submission of that work that I just mentioned before. And then this has been a nice feature from one of our Year 11 students who decided to do their own crib sheet. And because that student felt it really important that her peers felt comfortable in submitting work and making sure that they can navigate and submit via Teams and Show My Homework. So if you haven't seen it already, that's on our website, and that was designed by one of our students. And actually Microsoft Teams have been very interested themselves about that. And then just a reminder that your timetable is as normal. You should find all your invites via your calendar on Teams to those. And then your attendance to your allocated one tutor lesson session a week and your assembly slot. There's no need to attend every single tutor session, it's just one per week, and that should already be communicated with you as well. Remote learning and special educational needs or disabilities can sometimes be quite tricky. I want to reassure you about how seriously we're taking that and how much we want your communication, and we want that triangulation of communication between students, parents and teachers. The student care team and the SEND team have set up protocols and tracking and also monitoring individual students, how they're accessing work. So you should receive those weekly phone calls or those every 2-week phone calls about how you are progressing with your work. Now, if you're not in or you don't receive that phone call for any reason because you can't access the phone or you're just not around, please contact us. It's really important to us because, like I said, the student care team and the SEND team have all got students they're looking after, and your feedback or your questions, they can go directly to the subject teacher, that's okay, but there are designated members of staff to support you. So please contact us if you're having any difficulties with remote learning for SEND. Just for parents then, so you should have hopefully seen our remote education at Corby Business Academy guide for parents. If you haven't, it is on our remote learning page. It's a really clear document about what you can expect and how the remote learning currently works, including tracking, and I'm going to talk about more of that in a minute. So please, if you haven't already, have a look at that. And also in regards to Show My Homework, there's a really nice succinct video that again gives parents some guidance on that, and again that's on our remote learning page on the website. In regards to assignments and work completions, Show My Homework has got an app, it's called Satchel One. If you haven't got that app, I really urge you to get that app because it's a really useful tool for you as parents and carers, so you can see what your child is submitting, whether it's on time or any assignments they've missed. And we understand there's circumstances around that sometimes, but it's important you have that overview. So also don't panic when you get those alerts. For example, if it's at the weekends or in the evenings, there's no pressure for you to look at those. All you need to do is just work around your own family circumstances and make sure that you are looking after yourselves as a family and your family time, but also monitoring what's going on. And if you feel there's any incorrect statements on there or there's problems that we don't know about in regards to submitting work, again, I want to reinforce, and I'll talk about it later, about the importance we're absolutely open for that communication. That's either when it's the scheduled tutor time phone calls that you should be receiving, or whether you want to contact subject teachers directly. That is absolutely fine. Lesson attendance. We are tracking that as we speak. That goes onto our system called SIMS, which is an information tracking system. And we're now going to move towards text alerts for you as parents and carers, just so you get a weekly overview of how your child is doing in regards to attending live lessons. And I want to reinforce again, we understand there are circumstances at home sometimes that you can't control, or there might be illness, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So take the data or the text that you receive, just have a look at it, and we understand that your context will be important to that, but it should give you a really good overview about what's happening in regards to live lesson attendance. And like I said before, we understand there are circumstances at home. Every home is very different. Sometimes internet might go down, or you might not have access to advice, it might not work, or you might be ill. We understand that. All we do is trying to give you as much information as possible so you have a picture of what's happening with your child and their remote learning. Wellbeing is a huge focus for us at the moment, as it should be, and quite rightly, because being in front of a screen all day, it can sometimes be difficult, and also being at home under this national lockdown is again sometimes quite onerous and stressful. So if you haven't already seen it, we're doing lots of work and advice and guidance on wellbeing, and I'm going to talk through some of those in a minute. So the first thing to note, where you'll find some of our basic guidance and advice on wellbeing, is on the home learning page of the website, and you'll find that under student info, then under home learning, and then under optional extracurricular activities. And just when you get to that page, you will find lots of advice and guidance. Our document there, there's 5 strands to it, as you can see. There's 5 different strands, and underneath all those strands, which sits underneath that document, are different pages that guide you about top tips, maybe some useful website links or advice, and some sneaky little challenges we've put in there to hopefully keep you occupied and take your mind off some of the stresses and strains about what's going on with the pandemic at the moment. So please have a look at that, and I hope you find it really useful. We're planning to update that depending on what happens with the next government announcement, but please look out for all those alerts. Also on that page, you'll see a basic video that gives you some top tips for mental health and well-being for children. Again, it doesn't take much time to have a look at it, and I'm sure lots of you have thought of these ideas already, but sometimes it's nice to feel refreshed and have some ideas maybe that you haven't thought about. And something that's being launched today or tomorrow, depending on when we can get our website updated, is an extra everyday well-being. Like I said, because screen time, we're finding that we want to be really proactive with that and make sure that you've got all the information, because simple things like once you've attended a live lesson, please don't pick up your phone as a student and look at another screen, or keeping your mental health and your physical health really as high as you possibly can at this time. There's lots and lots of tips and guidance in that document as well, which you should find really useful. And then just some of the things that are happening on that same page. We've got the teen yoga. I was really pleased to see the amount of sign up for that last week. And there's still some spaces ready for this week as well, but only a few, so you need to be quite quick with that. And then also there's lots of physical challenges, which are part of the first document I've shown you, but it's broken down into separate ones so you can really focus on those if you particularly enjoy them. And then something that if you follow the Academy or myself on Twitter, you'll see that we're having a bit of fun with this. Some of it is a bit of a competitiveness. I do really want to win the league well, win the whole tournament really, and I'll talk about that now. So if you haven't seen it, get involved. It's just a case of doing some kind of physical activity and then logging your minutes according to our academy and whether you're a student or member of staff. We actually last week, or the end of Sunday, we won the first stage, the league, so that was really pleasing, and we're now into the semi-finals, and this week is that semi-finals. So if you haven't already, or you plan to do it, make sure you do those activities or those tasks and then log those minutes, and let's see if we can get into the final, which should be next week, but please keep an eye on that. And things to look out for, because we're never quite settled in regards to can we do more for you as a community. We're looking into initiatives around maybe some things like there's a no screen day, or some lessons where it will be physical work rather than based on a screen. So please look out for further notifications around that. We'll keep looking at top tips about how to focus on your well-being and manage your workload really well. And also we're always looking at new initiatives. Sometimes it's seeing what's out there already, but also we're working our own initiatives to make sure that we're trying to trailblaze in regards to what we are doing for you as a community. A reinforcement about our absolute commitment to safeguarding and student care. Now, some of you will be receiving weekly phone calls because we want to support you and your current circumstances, and that will continue. But I want to reinforce that the student care team are there for you, as are your tutors, which I'll touch upon later. So it doesn't matter what your need is. If you feel we can help, please contact us. And all our contact details, as you would expect, are on our website under Student Care. And you can also contact me directly if you have any concerns. So a reminder about the processes and the staff that are around for you. There is the tutor phone calls and the tutor times that students are attending weekly. So please make the most of those and communicate any concerns you have or any support you need. We've also got our heads of year looking at certain students or certain situations to make sure that we're supporting you as best we can as well. And then that moves down into our student care team and SEND team that I've mentioned already, but also SLT are responsible for certain members of staff within that structure. So please keep in touch with us. And that's just a reinforcement that it doesn't matter what your concern is. If you're not getting the feedback that you need, or you want some extra support, we are all here for you. You don't have to just go through one structure. And then just a reiteration, some of you have seen this before, but we are still expecting some quite high standard. It's not because we don't care or we're not aware of the current situation out there. It's just because we care about the education of the students. So just some standards: attending as many lessons as possible, or the recordings for those lessons is something that you really need to try to achieve as students and parents maybe and carers. If you can monitor that and you can help them attend as many as possible, and if there are circumstances with IT or laptops, please get in touch with us at inquiries email at the Academy, and we can hopefully maybe support around those. Attitude to learning, it needs to be really strong, as we always expect, having a passion for your learning, having a passion for each single subject, because it's important for your destinations and your pathways, which I touched upon earlier. So please keep that attitude to learning high in these difficult circumstances, alongside the well-being that I mentioned before. And the work that you are submitting, please keep it to the standard that you know that you can produce, because whether it's year 10, 11, 12 or 13 students where we're looking for evidence, or it's Key Stage 3 students where we're looking to see your progress on this curriculum we're now having to deliver remotely, it's really important that your work is your highest possible standard. And I know you can do that. You're all aware of some of the target grades you have, but it's always really good to try and work above your target grade as well. But if you need any support in the quality or in the feedback you get, about improving the quality of your work, please engage with the staff on that, because again, it's really important. So that's it from me. Obviously lots of this is pending the next set of government announcements, but I want to reiterate our commitment to you, the community, the students, parents and carers out there. We are here for you. Please keep in touch with us if you need absolutely anything. Okay, that's about it from me for now. Please stay safe, and we really, really look forward to seeing students back in the building soon. Bye-bye.